Anyway, Kyle, I think we had kind of on the agenda after Jim left,
Fitness,
recapping
hockey, and MMA.
fitness. Well, we were going to forego fitness and MMA and just talk about hockey. No. We were going to recap the drinking episode. And Kyle, I know you had quite a few things to say, so I'll let you.
Oh
my
God, yes. So I completely blacked out the entire episode that we did. Not just the parts where I was drunk and forward, but the previous parts where I was just like sober, buzzed, tipsy, drunk, wasted. Like, no, I don't remember sober. It's all gone. And so, like, I didn't understand why people were like giving me a little bit of a hard time about some of the stuff I said. I remembered vaguely that I said something, and I was just like, I doubt I said anything that bad. And then Chiz keeps linking me these clips. I'm like, oh no, I'm watching Olina. So I will say
Olina. Yeah, look what Lyle did. Yeah.
That was Lyle. So first of all, I will say, I usually don't rewatch PKAs because I'm here, right? I remember everything we've said and done. I've more than seen it. I've experienced it. And so, but this time I had to watch, and I loved it. I thought that the stuff that I was saying about them, while terrible, absolutely ruthless, was fucking hilarious. And every time I would say something, I was like, don't say that. I had no idea that the gentleman had an injury. I mean, I clearly had an idea that he had an injury in the show because I made a joke about it. I was like, maybe Elena would like a fella who can walk. Like Jesus Christ! Like, don't say that. That's terrible. I didn't love them as a guest, but I don't hate them as people. Why am I saying these things? Just went on a fucking roll. Now, I have no regrets about any of the things I said about Elena and her pooping and beating ponies to death to fuck her, burning ponies to death to fuck her. Any of that. I think those thoughts sober. But some of the stuff I said about Riley, I regretted after watching sober, and I would apologize to him if I had any dealings with him in the future. And if he's listening to this, sorry. I blackout drunk, literally, just trying to be funny and entertain everyone. And also at the end of the show, we got into this weird place where I feel like we were just so drunk and still trying to be funny that we just started saying random racist and homophobic things. And I feel like that was just us trying to like blindly lurching to try to make people laugh. Again,
I need to see that part again. I don't remember that.
Oh, well, you do need to see it again then, because we said the N-word like
I said the N-word?
8 or 9. Oh yeah, you said the N-word. Yeah.
Sure.
I swear on your children's lives, you said the N-word. We all said the N-word.
Does Chiz agree that I said it?
I wouldn't swear on your children's life otherwise.
Chiz wrote,
I'm not.
Oh yes, you
Kyle
did.
cares about your children. He wouldn't do that.
I do. We all did, and I'll say this: it wasn't coming from and I think if you watch it, you'll see, it wasn't coming from a racist thing. It was coming from a drunk, completely out of it person trying to make people laugh and entertain people by being outrageous and obnoxious in that moment. And I didn't think that was funny on a rewatch. Whereas for the stuff with the Vagabonde and much of the rest of the show, I found to be excellent, top notch, some of the best work we've ever done. Probably because we weren't held back by like any sort of social norms or
any sort of tact or respectfulness or kindness or consideration. None of that entered the equation. It reminded
me of an O&A. It was excellent. It was so funny and so mean spirited that it was very funny. But I felt bad about some of the things I said, and I honestly had no memory of much of the show. I mean, 10% of the show I remember. And
if you had to narrow down?
I mean, bits and pieces throughout the 4 hours. 10% of that I maybe remember.
What was the last little bit that you remember? Like the last speck of recollection?
I remember. It's all kind of vague, Like I remember Woody staggering around. I remember Woody talking about his headphones being tight.
They were very tight. Yeah, they got much tighter than that.
I remember Taylor talking about he had his lime. I remember that you had lime.
For my tequila.
And that's like it.
You remember Woody had tight headphones and I had limes.
Yeah, I swear to God, like I have never had so much to drink. Like so I was drinking out of this thing, and like.
You were pouring some heavy shots.
I should fill it up to the mark and then measure it, because I feel like I was drinking like maybe not doubles, but 1.5s. Like I was drinking 1.5 ounces or 2 ounces every time. And someone said I had 9. I feel like I had 16 shots of fucking alcohol over the course of 4 hours. And that is the drunkest I have been in my entire life, bar none. There was one other time where I got so drunk I blacked out ever in my life. It's only ever happened that other time, and that was on a trip to Austin where there were fans buying me tons of drinks, and we were trying to hit every bar down a street in Austin, and I spent that night on the toilet. I'll tell you, near a toilet anyway. After the show, I in my head the next day I remembered spending a little time in the bathroom and vomiting, and then going to bed, waking up vomiting, and it happened 3 times. I remembered vomiting, going to bed and waking up, and then vomiting again, going back to bed, vomiting, going back to bed, and then sleeping throughout the night. That ain't what happened, because Kitty took plenty of pictures to document it for me. I spent the night in the bathroom, the vast majority of the night, and I'm just... You can tell that time is passing because she's bringing me more accessories. Like at first, it's just me curled up on a cold tile floor.
Oh, he only needs a blanket for now. He'll be better soon.
Then all of a sudden, there's like some Tums there, right? And then some water appears, and like as the photos go, and then you see I'm swiping left to right, and then there's aspirin, and then there's a blanket, and like I'm like changing positions throughout the night. Clearly, like just on the floor. I have no recollection of any of that. Now, the next day, by like 8:30, 9 a.m., I texted the guys. I just had eaten like a bowl of oatmeal, which I felt like absorbed any further poison that there was in my stomach and got me to tip-top shape almost instantly. And I was like, I'm all good now, boys. I'm all good. That wasn't so bad. Taylor was like, I got a headache. And I don't even know if Woody responded. I don't recall. Maybe you said you vomited or something like that. The night was much worse than I remembered. And I'm glad. I'm so glad. There was a Star Trek where the characters were being kidnapped, tortured terribly, but then their memories were erased, and there was this sort of philosophical question, like, are you damaged by that? Even though
I don't have any fingernails, but
they put them back. Like they experiment on them, take their memory, like literally they cut their arms off surgically, but look at it, and they stick it back on. Like, I don't know what the fuck happened. Like if the next drinking episode we do, and I'm happy to do it next week. If anyone wants to, but there has to be some fucking moderation, okay? Like, starting with a 1.75 ml bottle is not a good idea.
I thought about this. So the first recent time, I was on the bathroom floor throwing up all night. The second time you can see where this is going. We're taking turns.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
See, I think I was the only one of us who didn't vomit after the last episode.
I didn't either. I thought I would. I tweeted that I was going to because I didn't think I was lying, but in reality, I just felt terrible. I felt terrible deep into the next day, like 4 p.m. I still felt bad.
But I went to bed instantly after we finished. Just stumbled to bed, passed out, forgot to put my fucking retainer in. And ground my teeth so bad I chipped one of my teeth.
No.
And so I had to
like
go.
$1,000 problem.
Oh no, it like they'll patch that back up, no big deal. So it didn't cost anything. But like I woke up the next morning and I was like, oh my head, I feel awful. And I like got up, went to the bathroom, used my Quip, started brushing my teeth. Throw back to the sponsor. Excellent toothbrush, by the way, I love it. And I was brushing my teeth and I spit, and how after you spit you do the make sure there's no shit in your teeth or anything. I did that, and I saw a big old divot in my front left tooth. Yeah, it's been fixed by now, but the big old chunk taken out of this, and I was like, fuck, fuck. Like I've only had these forget my retainer for one day, and then I got it patched up again, which is annoying because I hate going to the dentist. But still, it was like, God damn it, I did pay my due for that drinking episode, even if it wasn't vomiting. Chipped my goddamn tooth, ground my teeth so hard because I was too drunk to remember to put a retainer in. I
got to tell you, that was rough stuff. And rewatching it is kind of bizarre, like watching yourself but not having any memory of like the stuff happening. It's weird to rewatch it.
Yeah, I had so much vitriol for that 750-pound woman Screaming about
You're a fucking animal. You should be put in a cage and observed by medical science and poked and prodded.
You kept bringing her back. Like, we haven't finished talking about the fat woman yet. Or maybe that was Tucker.
This is just topic has 2 more hours in it. Easy.
All right. Now
and like Taylor kept like we kept saying like, all right, we're working on the titles now. The show wasn't over, and Taylor would be like, well, now that fucking show's over. You're a nigger. Yeah. And we're like, the show isn't over, Taylor. What? It's not over? No, we keep telling you.
Yeah, there were 2 times in like the last 7 minutes that I thought the show was over, and it was in a 7-minute span.
I insisted repeatedly that I was whiter than Taylor and Chiz.
Yes, yes, you did. You maintained that being English was somehow a sign of whiteness. It was bizarre.
I still think it's the whitest white.
That's why my and that's why my N-word came up, because Chiz wrote that in the chat, disparaging Sicilians, and I was like, Sicilians are not the N-words of Europe, like,
Chiz,
which is what.
Give us a ruling. Is English the most white? What could be whiter? Maybe
I did
German.
read it loud case. Yeah. Oh, Scandinavia. That's pretty white. Well, the whole point is none of it matters. We were all wasted. We saw, and like to quote Kyle's point, we saw an anchor point for a potential conversation in who's the whitest, and we're all wasted. And so it's like almost 4 hours in, so we're just trying to do anything. And when you're drunk, you're not looking for tactful, sly humor. You're like, if I just say it loud enough and angry enough, I'll get a laugh. That's all that it is.
She says Nordic countries.
I think it was a rip-roaring success overall. People seem to think it was very funny. I thought it was funny.
I was thankful that we have 78 more weeks before the next drinking episode.
We don't have to maintain any sort of schedule.
We're gonna do one a month.
No, we're not. I can't do that. I can't
One
do
a
that.
month. One a month.
You guys are just making me the asshole. You don't even want to do it once a month.
Down in the comments below, 1 a month. 1 a month.
On Woody's Twitter, tweet him, 1 a month.
Oh, he'll never see it there.
You're right. Woody never checks his fucking Twitter.
That's funny. No, I in my heart, 3/4 of the way in, I thought I was the drunkest. Not that I drank the most, but my tolerance combined with how much I did drink. In hindsight, Kyle was the champion, and that shouldn't be disputed.
Kyle did drink the most,
for
sure.
Wait. Kyle was the drunkest. Is it possible Tucker drank the most?
No, I think Tucker was taking. Wasn't Tucker taking real shots?
Yeah, I think due to the not.
Because Kyle wasn't measuring. Kyle was taking. You may be like, oh, Kyle took 10 shots and Tucker took 12, but Kyle, those were some heavy pour shots Kyle was taking, especially towards the end.
It was foolish. I was drinking just because like that when I'm drinking, like watching a movie or something, what I'll do is I'll pour like I've always heard them refer to fingers. They're like, give me 2 fingers of gin. And that's this much, right? So I'll pour myself 2 fingers of this stuff, and I'll down that, and I'll usually drink at least 1 or 2 more, and that gets me real good and buzzed to like watch a movie and like eat some popcorn or something. I'm having a great time at that point, and I was kind of used to pouring about that amount. I don't know how much I was drinking. I should have used a shot glass. I don't think I own one. Because I don't usually drink like that. I just pour a couple fingers of that stuff.
I don't drink
You should own one.
I drink doubles.
Yeah,
you should own one just for measuring out your.
Well, I have a whole like fancy mixing kit that has like a bartender's like 1 ounce and 2 ounce thing and a shaker and all that stuff. But I should have gotten that out, I guess.
And you use that to drink Grand Gala straight.
No, I don't. But I could have, measured 1 ounces out every time, which is what I should have done. And I think it's what I would have done if I'd known that you were going to be quite the cheerleader that you were. Because like rewatching the footage once again, Taylor.
Okay.
Taylor was driving us forward like we were a team of fucking horses. I don't know if you remember this.
You were my sled dogs, and I was keeping you in line.
He fucking mush every 20 minutes or something. You know what? You know what time it is? Time to drink again.
Yeah. Woody, I'll wait for you. I'll wait for you, Woody. I'm here. I'm here waiting for you, Woody.
Like, oh yeah, all right then. Glug 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 glug. Smash. Just it got real fucking out of hand.
Like Tucker was taking his shot, I would take my shot, Woody would take his shot, or shot amount, and you would be like a 3-second pour into a glass, and then have to do like a 2 swallow to do your shot, which is a sign the shot's too large.
Yeah, they were like full, like mouthful gulps. Like I couldn't drink more in 1 swallow if I'd wanted to every time.
I had 1 or 2 that was big. I remember my first one. Like everyone's like shot, and I was drink. If anyone watches the first shot, but there were some small ones I took too. I'm just not a drinker. I don't want to be a drinker. People were like, one guy wrote me like 7 or 8 paragraphs on how to be a better drinker. You know, and like the attitude I need to go in, the fun, don't worry about the hangover, this and that. And he really laid out. He seemed to be an expert on the topic, but to me, that's like an article on how to be a better cutter. You know, like it's not something I'm looking for.
Across the street, you're just looking for attention. You don't want to.
Yeah, right. You know, scratch your inner thigh. No one looks there. Like, that's.
Russell Crowe has a really interesting drink. I want to try to find exactly what it is, but Ed Sheeran was telling the story of Russell Crowe teaching him how to drink, because Ed Sheeran was like partying a lot, I guess, and then he'd have to do these shows, and he was like, I'm not able to perform. You know, I'm all hungover and stuff, and he's got this drink that he comes up with. I want to find exactly. So we proceeded to knock off. Let's see. It's something with like passion fruit juice and ice and tequila and lots of water. I wish I could find it. I think I'm looking at the same article you're looking at, Chiz, but I don't know if it says exactly what's in it here. Anyway, it seemed that the way to avoid the hangover, it was ice, a bottle of Silver Patron, and a good bit of passion fruit. And I guess the ice was adding a lot of water to the mix, and then he was drinking a lot of water. I felt like I drank a lot of water. I drank that entire bottle of Fiji, and then I had a glass of water that I was sipping on after that, and that did not help. Maybe it did help. Maybe I'd be dead otherwise. I don't.
You'd be like.
Kyle perhaps drank the most alcohol, but I think I drank the most water. Jackie was coming in with those waters like on a rotation.
Yeah.
And those
I drank like
glasses.
7 LaCroix throughout the night.
It's a lot too.
But I think a couple of those were probably after we finished. I don't remember though.
I guess that's for a hangover anyway though. And to Chiz's point just now, I did not have a hangover. Like I was fine the next day. I mean, I didn't feel 100%, but I had no headache or nausea.
Oh, my head was fucking killing me the next day. Felt awful. Like you know when you do like the hangover test and you give your head a little shake like that to see if you're hungover.
Yeah.
And if you like give it a nice little shake and you don't feel anything, you're like, all right, I'm solid. I gave my head a nice little shake and I was like, oh, there's like fucking marbles everywhere in there, just like click clacking off the side of your skull.
I was sensitive to light. I went downstairs in the living room and just pulled every shade and claimed the room as mine. And I think I slept on a blanket on the couch that day.
Yeah, well, it was Friday morning, so I had to go to an early meeting.
That's great.
And I was sitting there thinking, like, God, those fucking cunts.
Yeah.
Like, just sleeping.
Thank God I had no responsibilities till Tuesday night.
Till Tuesday night. I think I'll be all good by Tuesday night.